Hi, it's Matt with EquiPredict Analytics. In this video, we'll be going over our year ahead forecasting model for the stock market represented by the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're going to be covering just briefly the forecasting models for 2023, 24, and 25 just to keep it short. And again, just briefly, if you're enjoying some of the content we're providing, please do subscribe to the channel. You can also head over to our website, EquiPredict.com. We've got a lot of information over there regarding market forecasting. This is a new, we just actually released a new model that's going to be sent out to our readers, a free market sentiment forecast around the first of every single month. That gives you a market sentiment forecast for the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. That's a huge upgrade. Definitely pick that up over at the website. There's some articles that are open for our reader base over there at the website, and you can read about our subscription model as well as our proprietary forecasting models, the primary four that we use when we are forecasting over at EquiPredict.com. So up on the screen here is the forecasting model that we deploy when we're looking at the year ahead. We want to develop a roadmap for what we should expect out of the stock market starting in January all the way through to the end of the year. And we don't change that forecast. We leave it alone. We leave it just as it is, and you'll see that in 2025 as well. But what this does is it doesn't tell us necessarily the magnitude of the moves we should expect. We don't expect the price pathway to follow this exactly. But what we look for out of this forecast is some information regarding when we should be considering risk management measures at these peaks, for example, when we should be considering taking on long positions like these troughs. And again, like the same here, peak, trough, peak, trough. And so what it does is it tells us we should be considering getting long here in mid-March, late May. We should be exercising risk management measures here in July. Another potentially small buy point for going long here in August with a pullback, and then potentially a nice buy point here in October. And this is what the forecast results turned out to be. This particular year did an excellent job at telling us kind of what we should expect. We can actually see that their buy points and sell points lined up fairly well. Exercise risk management measures here in July, another one here in September with a pullback, and there it was into a nice buy point in October that we should be looking for rally into the year ends. And so 2024, as I mentioned, we don't necessarily try to interpret from these exactly how the price's pathway is going to go, but when we see a pattern like this, it tells us that the year is likely to be bullish. For 2024, this is what we were looking for. We were looking for a buy point in March, another one here in June, another one here in September, with a potential small dip in December, and this is exactly what the Dow Jones did. The market went in the opposite direction of that particular risk management point here, the pullback point that was forecasted here in January of 2024 with a buy point here, but it did start to line up real nicely here in April with the remainder of the year. It missed this bit of a dip here. It didn't give us that as a potential buy point, but nonetheless, it did lead us into the end of the year and told us that it was going to be a bullish year, and sure enough, it was. This was a very interesting year going into 2025's forecast. When we initially released this, this didn't make a whole lot of sense to us, this large pullback here going into August. The way these forecasts work, especially in the way the fundamental structure of the stock market is set up, is that the stock market is designed to go up. Okay, it's designed to increase the share value of those underlying shares in the stocks. So to see this sort of pullback and this severity, we were a bit skeptical of, but nonetheless we need to pay attention to it. A lot of our subscribers over the website will remember that we were kind of shouting from the mountaintops that we should be exercising risk management towards the end of August because we were expecting some sort of consolidation, which never happened. But nonetheless, this is what the forecast told us to look for, is some type of peak in March or very early March with a nice buy point in April, and again another buy point here in June, another buy point, well, right about now. So let's take a look at how the forecast worked out. Again, it didn't necessarily follow the forecast perfectly, but it did notify us that this was going to be a nice April buy point. Again, forecast is the same. Price action is the only thing that's updated here. Told us about the updated the buy point here in mid-June, and then also it's telling us that right here, right now, we should be looking for a nice little bit of a rally going into December with a potential pullback in 2026. Now, again, this is the forecast using data still from January 1st, 2025. We haven't updated the forecast at all. So what we did was we went ahead and updated that forecast. This is year to date. So using all the data from all of 2025 going into today's date. And what we found very interesting is that the forecast was telling us even with the updated data, that this was still likely to be a weak point, even looking backwards. So we found that very interesting. And what you'll find is that it did tell us, even still with this updated data, it tells us this was a weak point, but look what's happening. This price is now pulling back all the way to that sort of August cautionary period. But the good news is these two forecasts, the data from January 1st, 2025, and the data up to today's date is telling us pretty much the same thing, is that we should be looking for some type of rally going into early December with a potential pullback and then a rally into the end of the year. So again, don't forget to pick up that 2026 forecast, or at least get notified when it's available over at EquiPredict.com. That's coming up towards the end of December, early January. And I hope this helps you with the rest of your trading journey for 2025. Good luck and good trading out there.